What's good, everybody? It's your man Dale saying, how y'all feeling out there, man? Happy Tuesday. I believe today is the 15th, if I'm not mistaken. Let me check my old watch here. Yeah, today is April 15th. It's tax day. Yeah, don't forget that. It's tax day. Not sure if there's anybody at the IRS is going to be able to process your tax return, but hey, get them in there. You know, everything's automated, so if you need a human, good luck. But that's not what I'm here to talk about. I watched this piece on Nightline. I saw it on YouTube. I'll have it linked below. And they were talking about, you know, like the stay-home dad, the stay-at-home father, you know, Mr. Mom, whatever. And they highlighted this couple. Very successful couple. Like, mom was running the business. She's like either the owner or maybe she was like C-suite. I don't know if she was CEO or the chief operating officer. I'm not sure what she was, but she was the breadwinner. She was doing the career thing, and dad stayed home, took care of the kids, had 2 kids. You know, like school age, elementary school age kids. And, you know, he cleaned the house, did all of the housework and all that kind of stuff, cooked. And they were talking about this shift in dynamic between, you know, in relationships today. Like, you know, everyone's talking about the whole trad wife thing and, you know, but let's keep it real, y'all. It's like a new norm. So, in the red pill world, right, in the manosphere, there's a lot of talk about this. Women talk about this a lot. They'll say, you know, I'm successful and I got a guy and my success intimidates the guy. And they talk about how relationships failed. They didn't work because, you know, she would say I was a breadwinner or whatever. I have always argued, and I continue to argue, that in the red pill world, I tell guys, like, listen, fellas, you can, in fact, be with a woman who is the breadwinner. That's most men, I would argue, don't have a problem with that. The problem comes in when there's an issue, right? When there's an issue. So the couple that they highlighted, both of them were making really good money. Like, she had her career, he had his career. And then they decided to do this thing. He decided that he's going to stay home and they're going to do this thing. So that's when you get into the relationship, you know, the part of the relationship when you guys come together and decide what you're going to do as a group, as a team, right? Put the mission first. What's the mission? What's best for our family? The manosphere, the red pill world, states that it should be the man who initiates this thing. Like, the man should take leadership. He should lead. And then, you know, you can get into that discussion, that argument, if you want. Who should lead? Men should lead, women should lead, whatever. It should be a partnership. Y'all know how I feel about that word when it comes to relationships. So, but back to the expose. And again, check it out. I'm gonna link it below. I'm looking at this couple and I'm thinking, like, yo, these people were probably in the top 8% of earners before they decided to have dudes stay home and raise the kids. You know, their money was not an issue, you could tell. And if you kind of start to figure it out, you kind of look at it like, well, I'm pretty sure when the woman met this guy that he probably met those standards that women look for, the things that women find attractive. He was, you know, probably taller than her. He was probably making more money when they first met. He was probably cool and funny and all this other kind of stuff, right? That's what I was thinking. Like, well, you know, dude's probably a top tier guy. He was probably a highly sought after man, and he got, you know, she got what she wanted, he got what he wanted. And then they began their relationship and they began to grow. And I would imagine, again, I don't know these people, I would imagine that they never had any money problems. I don't think finance was the thing, and they were probably considered a power couple, right? You can watch this expose and see they're living pretty good, and they don't seem to have any issues. He's probably sitting on a nice little chunk of money from when he was doing his corporate stuff, like his 401k. He probably has stock options. He's probably still, not probably, he's definitely still in the highest percentile when it comes to wealth. So money's not an issue. So all they had to do was sort out what's best for their team, and they came up with this plan. And dude is handling it. He's taking care of business, doing the cooking, doing the cleaning, taking care of stuff, still doing his social thing. He's supporting his wife emotionally. He's there to hold everything down while she continues to grow and she can focus on her career. Great. And a lot of people see this and like, oh man, she wears the pants and, he wears the apron and da-da-da. I didn't see that. I didn't sense that. And the guy wasn't from the U.S. This dude was Dutch. But living in America. So there's so many different things going on here where I can see that particular relationship working for them. Like, we live in an era now where women are out earning their male counterparts. Women are out there getting it. So women are going to find themselves in a situation where they are the breadwinners. At that highest level, I don't think you have any problems with Mr. Mom or whatever you want to call it, like the man running the household. But at the lower income levels, or when you have a disparity, that wealth gap between the man and the woman, like, you got a woman, you met her and she was making 80 grand when y'all met, y'all were younger, you were making 20 grand, and now she's making 350 grand and you're making 60 grand. And then she goes up. Like, when you have that dynamic, that's when I believe the issues start. Can that work? Sure, that can work. You can have a situation where you have the woman who is, making so much more money than the guy, but they're really into each other. And there's that love, and that relationship is strong, and they're committed to their family, and the woman is bought in, and she respects her man and her husband and all that stuff. That could work. But generally speaking, when we hear about the horror stories, it's normally from the woman who's always made more than the guy, and then she starts to look at the guy. It's like, you're not trying. You don't want to earn. I'm getting tired of dragging you along. I could do bad all by myself. That's when you start to get into that. And unfortunately, we see that more, in my opinion, than we see the successful stuff. When you see the high-end earners who are, the guys able to stay at home. And in the story, in the Nightline, when you guys look at it, the dude is like still working. Like, he's an author. He's creating books, partnered up with his wife. They're like working on a book. So he does that when the kids are taking naps. He's working on a book. He's helping the kids with homework. He's taking care of business, which means they don't have to hire that au pair, right? And if you guys don't know what an au pair is, man, it's a really expensive nanny, right? Doesn't have to hire that. He's teaching his native language to his children. So children are already at least bilingual, if not trilingual, right? So I tell men and women, especially young men and women, it's like, look, times are always changing. The norms are always shifting. As far as traditional and all that kind of stuff, like, ladies, if you're looking for a dude who's gonna make more than you, be taller than you, you want a guy who's fit and charming and charismatic and is funny and all his other stuff. He likes puppies. He's good with his, he loves his parents. If you're looking for that type dude, you're competing with a whole lot of women because every other woman wants that dude as well. More likely, you're gonna find yourself in a situation where you might be the breadwinner. You might be the one on track in your corporate career to do all these, things and bring in all this money. And he might be holding down the home. He might be watching the kids. He might be doing all his other stuff. And that's not a bad thing. But, there's some, younger women out here, like, when they get mad and the argument pops off, where's it always go to? It goes to the money. I make the money here. I pay for this house. I pay these bills. And when that happens, that's the beginning of the end. So yeah, I saw that today. I'm gonna link that Nightline video that I saw in the description below. Check it out. Let me know what you guys think. Are we in the new norm? Right? Is the traditional man being the head of the household and, you know, making all the money and, you know, the woman staying home, having the babies, keeping the house clean, is that a thing of the past? I wonder. You know, let me guys let me know what y'all think. Can that work in today's society? Will American men accept that? More importantly, will American women accept that? I wonder. And here's the last thing. Fellas, if you find yourself in a situation where you're the stay-at-home dad and you're taking care of the kids and you're running a household, you're doing all the cooking, all the cleaning, and all that good stuff, right? And let's say she decides she just wants to leave you. She's tired. She found another guy. She found a guy who's making more money. She found somebody more exciting. That's what she wants to do. She files for a divorce. You're going to do pretty good in that divorce, bro. Especially if y'all don't have a prenup. You're going to get the house. You're going to get the kids. You're going to get alimony. You're going to get half of her retirement. The role extends all the way through the family law process. So, and I'm not saying that guys, y'all should do this so you can take advantage of women. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying you have that on your side. There's some leverage, and that's a lot of incentive for a woman to make her relationship work. Right? It'll be cheaper to keep him as opposed to cheaper to keep her. So anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And yeah, that's all I got for this one. I'm sure I'll be dropping some more stuff. I know you guys have noticed I haven't done any podcasts in a while. I probably won't be doing any podcasts, any live podcasts until May. We're promoting. We have a comedy show coming up here in Tampa in May, so we're promoting. I'm working on that. I've been really working on that. I'm also working on a separate project with my buddy Will Golston. We're trying to get some stuff going on that as well. So I've been busy. So I do apologize for not doing the lives, but I will come back. We'll get back to doing some lives in May, probably the second week of May, and I look forward to it. Hope you guys are doing good out there. Yeah, I'll be back probably a little bit later to talk about the latest with the tariffs and what's going on with the Trump administration and yeah, all that good stuff. So I'm DL Saint, man. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.